Hey folks, this is the middle part of chapter 8 about parallelograms and stuff. So here's some theorems. A parallelogram is a rhombus. Remember, rhombus is all sides are equal. So if and only if its diagonals are perpendicular. So this is a parallelogram if that diagonal makes a right angle with that diagonal right there. Okay, so parallelograms are rhombi, making this side equals this side equals this side equals this side. So this parallelogram is a rhombus as long as the diagonals are right angles right there. A parallelogram is a rhombus if the diagonals bisect the angle. So here's a diagonal that's going to bisect this angle up here. So these two guys are equal, and these two guys are equal. These two guys are equal, and these two guys are equal. And since alternate interior angles are equal, this little guy equals this little guy. This little guy equals this little guy, and so on. This one equals this one, this one equals this one, okay? So diagonals bisect each other. It's a parallelogram. I'm sorry, it's a rhombus, okay? It's a rectangle if the diagonals are congruent, okay? So if this diagonal equals this diagonal, then they are congruent. Let's go back to that rhombus real quick. Can you see this rhombus? This diagonal is shorter than this diagonal, so it's not a rectangle, okay? And then let's go back over here. Can you see this diagonal is not equal to this diagonal, so it's not a rectangle right there, okay? So uh, if they're rectangles and rhombi, then they're squares. That's when the diagonals equal, the diagonals are perpendicular. What else? And the diagonals bisect. Okay, so classify the special quad, then find the values of x and y. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. These red markings tell us it's a rhombus right here, so it's a rhombus, and then we can go ahead and say this side equals this side, and this angle and this angle. Since it's a rhombus, it's a parallelogram. These guys are supplementary, so x plus 104 equals 180 right there. Okay, so the y's are equal, and then x is the rest of the 180, so we get 76 right there. Okay, all right, this one totally is a rectangle right here. So rectangles, since it's a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal, so we go ahead and solve for x, and that's what we get on those guys. Okay. All right, so here we go. Rectangle geom is not shown, has dimensions 3 inches and 4 inches, so find the sum of the lengths of the diagonals, okay? Okay, so if it's not shown, go ahead and draw it right there. So it gives us, we're looking for GO plus ME right there, okay? All right, so since it's a rectangle, it's a right triangle, so right triangles gives us Pythagorean triples 3, 4, 5. So if that diagonal is 5, the other diagonal is 5, so 5 plus 5 equals 10. Okay, so here's a rhombus, has sides that have length 5, and one diagonal is 6. Remember, the diagonals make right angles, they're perpendicular, so here's our rhombus right here with sides of 5. There's one of the diagonals at 6. Let's draw the other one so it bisects it into 3 and 3. Remember, it makes perpendicular, so right angles right there, so it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, so that means the other piece is 4 because the diagonals bisect each other. So what's the length of the other diagonal? 4 plus 4. This diagonal is 6, so this diagonal is 8. Okay, so the other diagonal is 8. All right, you guys, as promised, you guys are going to get a quiz, and that will be your quiz. Take care.